Succeeding in an era of volatility, leadership strategies for an uncertain future abstract. The business landscape has undergone immense changes in recent decades due to factors like globalization, technological disruption, shifting workforce and customer demographics, and economic turbulence, creating a profoundly uncertain and volatile environment that requires constant adaptation for companies to avoid obsolescence. However, by drawing from research on complex adaptive systems and uncertainty management, the article provides strategies for cultivating agile, resilient cultures focused on embracing uncertainty and continuous adaptation to thrive amid unpredictability. Leaders must foster agility through empowering experimentation, risk-taking and iterative learning from failures to build resilience, emphasizing adaptability, interdependence, diversity, communication, and flexibility. While embracing ambiguity recognizes leaders cannot predict the future and respond to new opportunities. Continuous learning and adaptation are also critical, using flexible structures, short feedback loops, and scenario planning to identify weaknesses. The article then outlines an adaptive leadership framework to assess an organization's agility, resilience, and change readiness, proposing specific actions to decentralize decision-making, accelerate innovation, strengthen networks, communicate purpose, and conduct regular assessments for reviews, demonstrated through a banking example of innovative digital platforms. Startup culture, customer empowerment, and experimentation enabling thriving amid turbulence. By developing cultures focused on continuous transformation over control and adaptability, companies gain strategic flexibility to reconfigure successfully amid unpredictability. Over the past few decades, the business landscape has undergone tremendous changes at an ever-accelerating pace. Factors like globalization, technological disruption, shifting customer and workforce demographics, and economic turbulence have combined to create a profoundly uncertain and volatile business environment. Applebaum et al. 2017. Cameron and Green, 2019. Organizations today must adapt to change at lightning speed or risk becoming obsolete. Leaders are overwhelmed trying to navigate this chaos and keep their companies ahead of the curve. However, by cultivating an agile and resilient culture, embracing complexity and ambiguity, and focusing on continuous adaptation, organizations can succeed despite unpredictability. Today, we will explore how research into complex adaptive systems and uncertainty management can help inform practical leadership strategies for thriving amid constant change. Strategies for adapting to uncertainty. Foster an agile and resilient culture. Research shows that successful organizations in volatile environments display the qualities of complex adaptive systems. They are flexible, diverse, self-organizing, and able to reconfigure in response to feedback. Cameron and Green, 2019. Stowe, 2018. To develop these properties, leaders must cultivate an agile culture where employees feel empowered to experiment, take risks, learn from failures, and quickly adjust course based on new information. D'Avigny, 2015. Murphy, 2017. For example, at Netflix, leaders encourage an experimental mindset and move fast through iterative, test and learn cycles to stay ahead of shifting customer demands and technological innovations. In streaming media, Buin and Van Zeebroek, 2017. In addition to agility, resilience is crucial for navigating uncertainty and disruption. Kaiser et al. 2019. Holnagel, 2011. Leaders can foster resilience by emphasizing adaptability, interdependence, diversity of expertise, communication, and mental flexibility. Bamra et al. 2011. Markman et al. 2013. For instance, during the COVID-19 pandemic, pharmaceutical company Merck demonstrated resilience by rapidly reconfiguring operations, sharing resources sector-wide, and leveraging diverse scientific knowledge to accelerate vaccine development. Porter and Kramer, 2021. Embrace complexity and ambiguity in complex environments. Embracing uncertainty rather than trying to control it leads to better outcomes. Snowden and Boone. 2007. Stacy, 2012. Leaders must accept that they cannot predict the future and move from strategic planning to strategic sensing and responding. 3M, for example, allocates 15% of resources to skunkworks projects without predefined goals, empowering employees to pursue intriguing opportunities that emerge from interacting with markets and technologies in new ways. Birkinshaw and Hayward. 2018. Gemawat and Nwino, 2003. Ambiguity tolerance is also key, as complex problems often lack clear right answers. Fulop and Lindstedt. 1999. Mitroff and Emshoff, 1979. Leaders at technology venture capital firm Andreessen Horowitz cultivate a bias towards thoughtful advocacy by staging debates on issues without predetermined resolutions to surface diverse perspectives. Gelles. 2021. This approach allows them to make high-quality decisions despite uncertainty. Continuously adapt and learn given constant change. Ongoing organizational learning and adaptation are essential for long-term survival. Cameron and Green. 2019. Sitkin et al. 1994. Leaders must establish flexible structures and decision processes conducive to continuous learning and short feedback loops. For example, sports clothing brand Under Armour monitors market trends and employee-customer feedback closely through KPIs. Iterative testing and lightweight annual planning to rapidly refine strategies and launch new products. Lieflang et al. 2014. To avoid complacency, leaders can also regularly stress test strategies using scenario planning to identify weaknesses and possibilities for recalibration before disruption strikes. WAC. 1985. With a culture of ongoing learning and refinement, organizations build the ability to self-transform continuously. Application. An adaptive framework for leadership. The frameworks of complex adaptive systems and uncertainty management offer valuable guidance for practical leadership in volatile times. However, successfully applying these concepts requires real-world strategies tailored to an organization's unique circumstances. The following framework outlines an approach for assessing where a company stands along the dimensions of agility, resilience, and change readiness, and provides specific actions leaders can take to strengthen adaptive capacities. Assess current state, conduct organizational resilience audit to evaluate flexibility, learning, interdependence, etc. Survey employee perceptions of risk-taking, ambiguity tolerance, an openness to change. Analyze strategic planning process and innovation pipeline for agility. Build agility, decentralize decision-making, and empower experimentation. Institutionalize rapid prototyping and fail fast culture. Invest in digital technologies that accelerate feedback loops, strengthen resilience, foster diversity of thought, expertise, and social networks. Establish emergency response plans and business continuity management. Communicate transparently to build shared sense of purpose. Promote adaptability. Implement scenario planning exercises at all levels. Shorten planning horizons and use rolling forecasts. Tie incentives and performance reviews to learning, not just outcomes. Continuous refinement. Monitor internal, external factors and reassess at least annually. Conduct post-action reviews on successes and failures. Reinforce agility, resilience, and adaptability continuously by grounding such a framework in real data about readiness and iteratively refining areas of weakness. Leaders can systematically build the organizational capabilities needed to thrive despite volatility. Banking industry example. The banking industry provides a compelling example of navigating uncertainty through adaptive leadership strategies. After the 2008 financial crisis exposed vulnerabilities, many banks struggled to regain customer trust amid economic turbulence and technological disruption. Bornbaum. 2018. Those who have succeeded demonstrate agility, resilience, and adaptability. For instance, JP Morgan Chase invested heavily in digital platforms that give customers control and transparency. Like smartphone banking apps, Volatility, 2017. This empowered customers while accelerating the company's responsiveness to their evolving needs. When the pandemic hit, Chase had the agility to rapidly enable digital account openings, loans processing and customer service, solidifying its adaptability. Smaller banks have also thrived by embracing complexity. Fairfax County Federal Credit Union in Virginia cultivates a startup culture where employees pursue entrepreneurial initiatives to explore emergent opportunities. Like partnering with fintech startups on new digital products, Sorkin. 2020. This strategic sensing helps Fairfax stay ahead of larger competitors. The banking examples highlight how assessing adaptability, empowering customer-centric innovation, and embracing uncertainty through experimentation empowers organizations to succeed despite volatility, whether from crises, technological shifts, or other unpredictable change. Leaders who view turbulence as an opportunity to transform, rather than a threat, build the skills and mindsets that pave the way toward prosperity in disruptive times. Conclusion: navigating uncertainty will remain a defining challenge for leadership in the decades ahead. However, research from fields like complex systems theory and strategic management provides a path. By developing agile and resilient cultures that embrace complexity, continuously adapt and learn, leaders can strengthen their organization's capacity for transformation and thrive amid deep unpredictability. With focus on adaptability over control and by promoting adapt and sense capabilities at all levels, companies gain the strategic flexibility needed to successfully reconfigure as circumstances demand. Although uncertainty cannot be eliminated, its impacts on organizational performance and survival can be mitigated through practical applications of these frameworks. Leaders who rise to meet volatility with an adaptive mindset will steer their enterprises successfully through future disruption.